Hey, it's Kevin and Frank from
Cruising with Whales.
And today we have 5 free things that you can do in Skagway, Alaska.
Now you know, or maybe you don't, we're going to be on the brand new NCL Bliss for its inaugural Alaska cruise.
Oh my God, we'll be there. We'll be there in what, 23 days
Yes.
maybe?
Woo! Starting on June 2nd.
So we have been researching what we can do for shore excursions.
That's right, because Skagway, Alaska is one of our ports.
Now, we picked out an excursion to already do in Alaska, but if you're on a budget and you don't like any of the excursions that they have on the cruise ships, we've come up with 5 things that you can do while you're visiting Skagway for free.
Free.
So the first thing on our list is you can take a hike to Yakutania
Point. Let me say that.
and Smugglers Cove.
Right, it's a hike. So if you're into nature and hiking, which of course Alaska would be the perfect place.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful scenic area. The cost is free.
My brother-in-law, David, would love to do that because he's into hiking.
And from what we hear, it's the perfect spot to take a picnic.
Mm-hmm.
So, tip of the day is the night before, request that you can get a box lunch.
Right.
And they will deliver it normally to your stateroom. And you can take that off the ship with you
That's
and
right.
have your picnic out at Smugglers Cove or whatever the heck point. Yakutania Point.
I know. And again, if you don't ask, you don't get.
That's right.
What's the next one on our list? It's free.
Well, the next one is you can visit the Gold Rush Cemetery. Now, I know that sounds a little macabre and creepy, but
some people are really into cemeteries.
Right.
Cemeteries because they reflect the history of what was way back in
1898.
The Gold Rush era.
The Gold Rush of 1898 is what put Skagway on the map, and some of the events less fortunate participants can be found at the north end of town across the White Pass and
Yukon Route, railroad tracks.
I'm getting tongue-tied. I'm so excited because White Pass is what we're doing in Skagway.
We're doing the White Rail train. Ooh, I'm so excited. I love trains.
But the cemetery...
I feel like Sheldon on Big Bang Theory. Ooh, let's go to the train store.
But the cemetery is down a short path off of a parking lot, and a short walk further brings you to the base of Reed Falls. If you get there at the right time, you can spend a couple of minutes waving to the passengers on the White Pass rail headed up the pass. Now, this is a free thing that you can do, visiting the cemetery, and there's some interesting marker stones, and I'm sure a lot of history there.
I don't think anyone who's there will charge you an admission. Money not required where they are.
That's right. So, the next free thing is...
I like museums.
You like the museum?
Yes, trains,
So where are we visiting?
We're going to visit the National Park Museums and Moore Homestead.
So this museum is contains a lot of things that depict different parts of life during the gold rush. All of them are free to the public, and the museum includes the Visitor Center on 2nd and Broadway, the Park Museum next to the Visitor Center, and the Mascot Saloon Museum on 3rd and Broadway. The Chilcot Trail Center between 5th and 6th Avenues, and the Moore Homestead. The Moore Cabin on 5th and Spring is the oldest building in Skagway, built in 1887.
Wow.
Yeah, the wooden home right next to it was also built by the Moore family near the turn of the century. It's been painstakingly restored by the National Park Service and contains information and artifacts from Skagway's first family.
The Moors.
Not to be confused with the Palins.
No, I think they're a little later.
So most of these are free.
Yeah.
So I encourage you to, and they're all in the same vicinity.
Right.
So this could be a nice day trip for a family or a historian who wants to see what the culture was like and the lifestyle back during the gold rush era.
Right. And continuing on, if you're done hiking, you might be ready for a swim.
Ooh, a little hot and sweaty.
Yeah, swim in Lower Dewey Lake.
Now, Lower Dewey Lake on a summer's day is a quick dip that can be very refreshing. The water in the glacially fed lake
Again, not for the faint of heart.
hovers
It could be
around
a little chilly.
40 degrees. So swimming in the lake mostly consists of jumping in and then climbing out as fast as possible. I know where we are from, they do the thing called the Polar Bear Challenge, where they, in the middle of winter, they jump into
snow and ice in their little Speedos.
They're crazy. They jump into the lake and then they jump out.
Would be the day.
That would be the day. Forget it.
But again, there's picnic spots, and again, it's outdoors by the water, and though it might be a little chilly in the water, it'll be a nice day to just sit in a quiet, serene area on the lake.
And yes, and again, it is free.
Right.
There is one other one that we wanted to mention that I skipped right over, and I'm sorry for doing that, but that is playing disc golf.
What is
at
that?
Seven Pastures. It's a unique thing about disc golf courses at Seven Pastures is the holes. While most courses on the mainland use chain baskets, they didn't have any of those. So each of their holes is denoted by an overturned keg on a post. So disc golf is kind of like frisbee, but you got to get it in a hole.
That is crazy.
Yep. And the disc golf is indeed free if you have your own disc. But if you don't have your own
Where
disc,
can I purchase one?
you can get a cheap one at the Mountain Shop, which is located right in the port.
I'm sure it is.
So those are your free excursions for Skagway. We want to remind everybody that we will be vlogging while we are on the NCL Bliss. And like we mentioned previously, while we're in Skagway, we will be on the White Pass Rail. And we hope you watch. We'll also be posting from Instagram and on Twitter and snapping while we're on the Bliss. So please make sure to follow us there. Hit the subscribe button.
That's right. Click, click, click. Subscribe.
Then you'll be notified of every time we have a video. Normally we post on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
That's right.
And until our next video, we want to remind you to
travel safe
and cruise often.